Let's face it, if you have watched the entire Murder Drone series up to episode 7, which is the latest episode released as of recording of this video, you're probably aware of N and Uzi going through a lot of changes in their relationship. From enemies, to friends, to best friends, and now where they are currently in complete limbo as we did not get a yes to N's proposal. Mainly because of, well, this, that, and a lot of shit going down. Regardless, they have been through it all and have done so together. And during that process, we have seen both personal and relationship growth in both characters. So, today I'm going to talk through the 4 key stages of their character development and relationship.
Quit complicating my murder plan.
So, back to the beginning, we obviously know that Uzi is a worker drone and N is a murder drone. And in the story, these two should not be mixing in any way whatsoever. However, thanks to some convenient amnesia, we see the initial bonding begin between the two characters. And one key aspect allows this to work, and that is they both have a very similar struggle: exclusion. Uzi is pretty much excluded from the rest of the worker drones, being viewed as a weird, crazy, and sometimes scary character. And due to this, she has naturally built a very hard outer shell where she knows if she wants to do something, she has to do it alone and not show any sensitive emotions. Due to this causes everyone to not trust her, and so she knows that if she wants to do something, she's going to have to do it alone as no one will back her up. N is also similar in this aspect with his relationship between V and J. V pretty much ignores his presence and does not even attempt to interact with him properly. And for J, well, she pretty much always insults him and basically threatens to always kill him. And hell, she attempts to do that in the first episode. Plus, as a bonus, N even admits that he will often quote-unquote accidentally sting himself with his own nanite acid. However, he never does this in any of the actual episodes, possibly indicating that he has always had perfect control of his stinger, and hence, possibly hinting on the idea of self-harming himself. So, when the two characters realise their two similarities in this aspect, they both bond over it and become quick friends, working together to take down J and V and figuring out the mystery of the missing bodies in the worker drone colony. In addition, we see Uzi shows some signs of also opening up and generally being comfortable around N, which happens very quickly but also shows that he is clearly the only person she feels she can be somewhat trusting in, allowing her outer hard shell to be slightly loosened up. Finally, in episode 2, things start getting thrown into question after discovering the absolute solver version of J, which does throw some spanners into the relationship that, if anything, is a natural fear of what is going on. Especially after J tricked Uzi with a hologram of N, as well as a vision of her own mum who is dead, and seemingly killing her dad, which for anyone regardless, is going to make you question goddamn everything and what is real and what is not. However, in the long term, this is a natural separation required for the characters to process things, and leads us into the next stage.
No, I could use the help of you being there with me. Dapper buddy.
This is arguably the most important stage of the relationship between the two characters, as this sees Uzi progressively opening up and admitting that she cannot do everything alone. N, on the other hand, is scared of hurting any more worker drones, not wanting to interact with them, mainly because obviously he scared Uzi to a sense due to everything that happened, making her view him as monsters and making him feel like a monster towards the rest of them. Both characters are seen facing guilt, sadness, but most importantly care for each other, as neither wants to hurt either character. However, they eventually meet up again with their own problematic issue that would turn into one big issue. For Uzi, this is still trying to kill her for some specific reason, and for N, this is V trying to kill every single worker drone in the colony. Again, this leads both to meet outside the facility looking absolutely snazzy. Looking real good there, guys, real good. They both have an awkward stutterfest, showcasing N's doubts about interacting with her, but this is quickly dismissed with Uzi reaching out and asking for help and for N to support her. This is the first key interaction that showcases how much trust Uzi has for N, showing great character growth and understanding what she needs in order to progress. Because what she needs is someone there, no matter who they are, just to be beside and support her. This leads further on into the prom for the worker drones, having an amazing atmosphere, banging soundtrack, and really good vibe through it all. Of course, there is going to be drama, and this all kicks off with Doll trying to assassinate V, showcasing the powers of the Absolute Solver. And we also see further development between N and Uzi during the sequence, whether it's N saving Uzi a couple times, or their iconic dance. Sorry, I meant fight. Going on a slight tangent, this scene is just beautiful and top props to the team who worked on this. I might have watched this way too many times than I really want to admit. Finally, at the end, the crew defeat Doll and further discover the mysteries of Doll and showcasing more hints of Uzi trusting N more, with her taking N's hand without any questions. This is the first time we really start to see Uzi having a lot of trust in N. Moving on to the camping trip, we start to see Uzi turning into Morbius.
It's Morbin time.
Oh sorry, I meant a crazy vampire. And we see that both characters are really going through it with no idea of what is actually going on. Uzi is quite frankly mortified because she has an alter ego wanting to kill everything, while N is getting pretty peeved about V clearly knowing more about what is happening to Uzi and not sharing this with N, causing him to start to grow a bit more of a backbone, wanting more answers rather than getting pushed over like previously. At the end of the camping trip episode, V finds Uzi as the vampire, and this results in a confrontation between Vampire Uzi and V, which was pretty one-sided and nearly results in Uzi killing V. However, N comes in and stops Uzi from doing so. Uzi, still in vampire mode, tries to hurt N and does. However, she immediately snaps out of it, showing that she just cannot harm a being like N. However, N decides to, well, yeet her right up into the sky. We then get a lovely therapy session between the two characters, opening up and sharing how everything is just a little better when they are together. And both of them really have truly opened up at this point, kind of cementing that they are definitely best friends at this point. Although there are some sprinkles, some hints of something a bit more brewing in the background, which leads to the most difficult stage of this relationship.
I'm helping, you cute, weird butler. We find out what happened to you here, restore the memory files, and save you from being digitally lobotomized.
At this point, we clearly see that there is something a little more between the two characters, and this is signified during episode 5, especially with some simple stumbling of words from Uzi in particular, such as calling him cute before retracting to weird, as well as simply saying that they are just hanging out in the real world, outside the dream reality that they're in. Keep this part in mind as this will come up later on. However, as N meets quote-unquote Tessa again, he does start to fall back into his old habits of obeying and taking orders without questioning, which does start to put a strain on the relationship between the two characters, especially with the moral dilemma that Tessa puts on N.
I'll need you to choose the universe over one little drone, N. Before she's not herself anymore.
This, of course, puts everything he is thinking of in disarray and makes him question things even more, to the point where Uzi is the one actually trying to comfort N surrounding the whole situation, even when Uzi is kinda going crazy with Sin taking over more of her body. However, as viewers, we start to realize that there's clearly something more going on, as we start to see that the two of them are starting to casually hold hands around whilst walking. And they are even sweating profusely as they have no idea what on earth they are feeling at this current moment because they've never experienced it. Even when Tessa and V dismiss the antics of the two of them, Uzi is immediately there to defend N no matter what, showcasing how much trust there is and loyalty. But as per usual for this story, there are some secrets being kept from Uzi, especially surrounding the Absolute Solver in her, as it slowly starts to get taken over by Sin. This is not shared by N to Uzi, as he does not want her to freak out, especially with Tessa essentially saying that she needs to die in order to save the planet and the galaxy, something that N refuses to be the only option. At the end of episode 6, we then see V's very sad sacrifice, which leads us to being sent straight down to the Shadow Realm, also known as the Cabin Fever Labs, in which N may have accidentally revealed that they might need to possibly harm or do something to Uzi, and quite frankly, she doesn't take that very well. If anything, causes the two characters to split off. However, I do believe that this was a very much needed split to allow both characters to figure things out, kinda similar at the beginning. This will then allow everything to properly be rounded up into the last stage of the relationship. Here is where a lot of everything happens all at once, with both characters starting to understand what the hell is going on. N discovering how the world collapsed and what the true motive for Sin really is, whilst Uzi discovers what her mum was put through, and ultimately what she is about to go through to an extent. The story pushes them in different directions, but there are a couple of key things to consider. One is that Tessa is here purely to kill anyone with the Absolute Silver, as they pose a severe threat to her and quote-unquote humanity. Secondly, there is in fact a cure for the Absolute Silver that would prevent Sin from taking over, in which N realizes that Tessa should know of thanks to an explanation from Nori, Uzi's mum, whose AI core had been stuck in the labs since she presumably died. And thirdly, Uzi is losing control over her own body. This results in a confrontation between Uzi, Tessa, and N, with Tessa trying to kill Uzi, but is stopped by N, who threatens Tessa to tell the truth with one chance. And it was literally one chance, since...
You know why I keep you around here?
Yeah, he was not playing around here. He then goes after Uzi and is about to give her the program patch to stop Sid from fully taking over. However, this sadly does not go quite to plan, as Sid takes over and is now trying to kill N and Nori, as well as play with some emotions with the fact that N cannot kill Sin in Uzi's own body. It also doesn't help that she did destroy the entire patch, so yeah, that could be a problem. This next scene from the episode is just pure cinema, and that's all I really need to say about this section. The toying of emotions, the Sin-controlled Uzi forcing N to essentially kill her own body, and just simply superb animation from the team that made this. Like, it is amazing, and you will watch it multiple times because there's so many details in this. However, the ultimate blow is where Sin is using Uzi's body to sacrifice herself in order to let the flying pickaxe go and kill her. And N simply can't let her girl just die like that, so jumps without any hesitation to save Uzi, despite potentially killing the whole planet in the process, and the universe. That is commitment. This results in Sin having the upper hand and literally making Uzi try to eat her own damn mother. Like, Jesus Christ, that is dark. However, this does not quite happen as Ed makes an interruption. Yep. Yeah, that's a way to confess your love for someone. Bold. Unfortunately, Nori does not take this too kindly, considering N is heavily theorized to be the one that killed Nori, and slaps her own child to the damn ground. Uzi snaps back and does not take kindly to this and yeets her mum into the pit of hell. Although she doesn't know that is her mum until after ranting to N for being gross and confessing to her. And then he reveals that she just threw her mum away, and to be honest, they just both started screaming, perfectly simulating what the hell has happened in the past few minutes. And this is where the relationship officially, for realsies, starts. Well, it better fucking do, because I've just assumed that. If this isn't the start of their relationship, I don't know what all that was for then. Unfortunately, they only get a minute as quote-unquote Tessa shows her true colours.
Oh yes, get snuck upon.
And then shit hits the fan. They are both injured by Sin as she tries to consume them into the pit of hell, with even the tentacles mocking their relationship. Like, Sin, you're quite the emotional manipulator here, girl. This leaves the ending of Uzi sacrificing herself to save En, and leads us to the end of the story so far for En and Uzi's relationship. For the future between them, it's quite hard to say, but I do think that something is going to crack with En in particular, as he has not just had his old crush, but his new crush and partner sacrifice themselves to save him to some extent. And I think we are going to see a new side of En that will be uncontrollable until a force comes in to support him. Regardless, I cannot wait for episode 8 to come out and conclude this amazing show and this beautiful love story. Hey there, thank you for reaching the end of the video about the two lovebirds and murder drones. I hope you enjoyed today's video because it did take me a lot longer than I expected to compile everything together. Purely because I was dealing with such a larger quantity of video footage to edit through. I mean, you're talking about just one episode that was about 25 minutes to nearly 7 whole episodes, equating to about 2.5 hours worth of video content to pick and choose at. Which I found a lot more difficult, but you know, that's how you improve. You just have to go and progressively challenge yourself to new things. I just wanted to say before I end this video, to just say thank you for all the support. We have hit 10,000 views on our last video, and we've not just doubled but nearly tripled my subscriber count. Like, it's crazy. I started off with 78 subscribers when I uploaded that video. Now we're at 220 odd. I can't remember the exact number right now, but it's late anyway. It is like midnight. I'm absolutely shattered, but I wanted to get this video finished so that I could get it out to you when you guys see this on Wednesday. Anyway, if you fancy checking out more of my content or more of me generally, I do have some socials in the description if you want to check those out. And if you want to subscribe or give a like, I would appreciate that. I generally don't like to advertise these things because I believe that if you have a genuine interest, you will go down there and check for these things yourself. But I just wanted to mention them today because I had a few people ask me about it. Anyway, thank you all so much for the support. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. And from myself, that's all. Take care everyone, and I'll see you guys on the next video.